Hey there, it's Saturday, you know what that means. It's the weekend, but it's also time for Smash Suggestion Box, where we discuss DLC ideas for Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U and 3DS. We'll talk about character history and movesets, and give valid reasons as to why we think they should be included in Smash. We talk about old characters quite a bit, referring to classic titles, but today we're gonna see what the newest kids in the block have got to show us. They're kids now, they're squids now, they're the Inkling from Splatoon. Splatoon is new, so the lore is a bit brief. You play the role of an Inkling, which is a humanoid that can transform into a squid. These creatures can swim through ink that matches their own skin color, promoting lighthearted racism towards other clans of Inklings as you attempt to paint over their turf. Nintendo, promoting race wars since 2015. That's the basic premise of the game if you only play the online portion, which is the main selling point of the game. There's also a single-player campaign in which you, as an Inkling, battle a race of octopus creatures, Octolings, for basically the same reason. Nintendo, promoting ethnic cleansing since 2015. As far as the game goes, its mechanics are both familiar, but also new and unique. We know all about platforming, shooting, and online competition, but the concepts of a shooter where the objective isn't to kill, but simply to cover as much area as possible with your own tags, sounds like some sort of bizarre Counter-Strike mod. But many of us here at the evac station, including myself, can't help but enjoy the game for all the unique ideas it brings to the table, even if there are still a whole host of problems with the game. If you haven't seen the review on the blog, I'm going to put a link to it, you should go check it out. Going on to movesets, Inklings are not all that fast in human form. In fact, I'd say they're middle tier speed, in the same category as probably Mario. They also really don't fight much on their own either, as it's usually the guns that do most of the work. So we'll come up with some interesting combos for them utilizing their guns, and I think borrowing ideas from the Mii Gunner character template would be a wise idea. In fact, the Mii Gunner physical moveset is similar to Mega Man's in the sense that most of the moves are various ideas of shooting bursts of energy, but at closer range. The idea of the Inkling would be very similar, but with an added twist. Not only does the ink they shoot during the attack stick to the ground, the ink must be on the ground in order to perform some of their specials. While some specials can help paint the ground, your physical moveset and mastery of all your moves would be critical to make the Inkling play to its fullest potential. Additionally, other Inklings in play would have their own colors, turning Smash into a mini version of Splatoon. I'd say remove the slowdown effects and ink for Smash Bros, however, just because that would be insanely overpowered with everyone else, or with everything else we're about to talk about for specials. And yes, this is going to get kind of ridiculous. Also, keep in mind, the Inkling fighters would probably have their standard Splatter Shot Jr. This isn't because I don't like the other weapons, but so many of them are rather situational. I sort of like the idea of the roller, but that would require two different movesets. I don't think Sakurai's in the mood to make two different movesets or basically one character. Usually it's the other way around. For the standard special, I thought the Ink Zuka would be a nice one. It simply launches a wave of ink to the left or to the right. However, using it too much would drain you of your ability to attack, requiring a recharge, like most sub-weapons in the game. In Smash, the ink would work the same way, requiring the Inkling to recharge their supply to continue the fight. This is where the down special comes in to turn the player into a squid. This would allow you to move through the ink placed like in the game, while charging up so you don't have to take any damage. Although, obviously, you can only recharge if you're in your own color ink, just like in Splatoon. The side special would be the Kraken, turning the player into a large squid for a sideways ink dash attack. Unlike other dash attacks, this one only has momentum on the ground, meaning it's far less effective in the air for recovery. Likewise, if you're knocked back in this move, you can still retain your Kraken form for a moment or two. I'm thinking that the charging like Jigglypuff's roller attack would be cool, allowing you to be in this form longer if you charge it for long enough. Making this form less effective than its original game counterpart, as a Kraken, you don't move as fast unless you're in your own ink, just to keep this character somewhat balanced. The F special would most likely have to be the Ink Launch, where your character turns into a squid and launches high into the air. Inklings don't really have aerial attacks, and this character needed to recover moves somewhere. This move would do no damage if used in the air, but if used on the ground, a fair bit of damage might be used, especially when launching from your own ink. For the final Smash, the only thing I think that truly fits would be the Ink Strike. Your Inkling calls down an air strike, or a bomb from out of nowhere drops from the sky and releases massive ink explosions wherever you target. Much like in the game, this would have the added bonus of covering the ground in your own ink, giving you more ground to move in and damaging opponents in a big way. So why should the Inklings be in Smash? I think the real question is, why haven't they been announced already? Splatoon is one of the hottest new IPs Nintendo has right now, blowing away the reception that Pikmin had during its debut. Nintendo also doesn't get a new IP often, should push them forward to get as much love for this series as possible, in hopes that we'll want to continue seeing more games from the series, like Splatoon, and of course, really do. Not to mention, it would be nice to see how these new kids would hold up to classic champions of Nintendo, like Mario, Link, and Samus. It's also one of my favorite types of characters, the ones that fight more indirectly. One who is more focused on alternate strategies in order to get an advantage you'll miss if you aren't paying attention. This is kind of the same tactical gameplay I love in The Villager, and more characters need to embrace that. That's all for this week's edition of Smash Suggestion Box. I hope you don't have any complaints about this episode. If you do, be sure to send them to evacstation@gmail.com, as well as suggestions for future episodes. We also like getting comments, likes, shares, and subscribes, so please do that too, and we'll see you next time for more Smash Suggestion Box.